Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Stated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go. Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated. I have a really good episode that I want to get up for you today. I've heard a lot of individuals already comment regarding the NBA ratings declining. Fan viewership is down across the board on many of the major networks. Not sure about the stadiums exactly, but especially those who view the game at home, which is a much larger population of people than there are who actually attend games, right? I enjoy attending the games when I can, but mostly I take in the majority of the sporting events, as most of you do. Just by watching on TV or through your devices, et cetera. These days is a little bit different. But before I jump into this content, if you haven't already done so, please like this video. Liking the video obviously will help us to cruise along algorithm avenue, help this video and the other videos on the channel get into the presence of those much like yourself who are interested in this kind of content, namely that which speaks about the NBA. If you haven't already done so as well, subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell to be notified as to when my newest content is going up. Not to belabor the point, you can already see it on the screen here. And I'm testing a bit of a different format. I was going to go live and do this video. So if you've checked out previous videos, you might be like, man, this looks a whole lot different than it normally does. But, let's rock with it and just see how it goes. But again, not to belabor the point, top 3 reasons the NBA ratings are declining. So this is, of course, just my opinion as it pertains to the NBA's decline and declining ratings. So much, you know what I mean? There's just so much that can be pointed to as conspiracy theory, as hypothetical presuppositions, etc. But I think it's evidently clear, of the things that are wrong. But they're also it's a very nuanced conversation as well. I think that what we're experiencing in terms of viewership, or we're witnessing in terms of the viewership going down, is the culmination of a whole bunch of things that have just happened over the years, and people are fucking fed up. You know what I mean? So it's obviously displayed in the ratings. Before I do anything in terms of sharing my top 3 reasons, I want to get into an article that I want to share with you that I found from sportsillustrated.com, which kind of details, the issue at large. And, let's get right into that. NBA ratings continue to drop. Former players and fans give eye-opening reasons why. This article, again, published on sportsillustrated.si.com, was written by Matt Levine on November 23rd, 2024. It was published, but NBA ratings have continued to drop. Multiple fans and former league members weighed in on why. The NBA is still one of the more popular sporting leagues around, but they have started to see a decrease in ratings over the years. Even this season, the NBA has seen viewership drop on multiple platforms. Viewership on ESPN has been down 28% through November the 21st, according to Front Office Sports. Viewership on TNT has also been down 3% until the highly anticipated showdown between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Boston Celtics took place. The league has pushed back on this notion, with the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver blaming the 2024 presidential election, World Series, and other external events on the decline. I think we're just looking at a couple weeks of ratings, Silver told Front Office Sports. There's always some unique things. This year, we were up against the World Series, Dodgers, Yankees, 2 very attractive teams. They brought in a big audience. You had a presidential election, which was commanding an enormous amount of attention. So I think it has I don't think it has anything whatsoever to do with the style of play on the floor. How naive is Adam Silver? However, even with these events, the NBA may have a slight problem on their hands. Multiple fans and former players have weighed in on the exact reason for the ratings decline. Former NBA coach George Karl gave his thoughts, saying that the league is unwatchable at this point. Feelings on Trump aside, The election last week was a statement on change, he posted. The league I love and help build, the NBA, needs to acknowledge the same. Fans tell me daily the games are unwatchable. The entertainment has surpassed the sport. The NBA should listen and respond. Former Star center Shaquille O'Neal also weighed in on the ratings drop, citing playstyle issues. Fans have also made their feelings known, giving some eye-opening responses. This ranges from the product on the court to star players' load management, even citing politics from the league. Some fans have even blamed the rise in three-point shooting as a detriment to the overall game performance. Has to do with one thing. West C on X chimed in. Has to do with one thing: the product. The game now does not resemble what real NBA hoop was. Rules: can't defend paint, up to 5 steps allowed, no hand checking, defense is gone, as are basic fundamentals. Three-point shooting contests nightly, which means more failure. That fans in the tweet went on to say some other things. But in recent years, the NBA has seen the regular season almost become meaningless due to stars sitting out of games or games lacking intensity. The league tried to combat this by introducing the NBA Cup, which, to their credit, has worked out decently. But there are still clear issues that need to be addressed by the league before it's too late. So, a lot of things touched on in that article, which, I actually agree with. Again, it's a Sports Illustrated article where you can go and find. I, just did a Google search and found the article itself. I would link it in the description, but YouTube ain't rocking with the the article, links these days. So I won't do that and get a flag. But, again, to a lot of the points that were raised in this article, I think that that decline, I mean, they're very valid. You know what I mean? Like what everybody is saying about, the NBA ratings decline, namely, I feel like trying to blame outside forces, you know what I mean? Like, or things on TV, like, oh, well, we were up against the season finale of American Idol, or we were up against, you know what I mean? Like this broadcast or that broadcast. It's baloney. Fans are fans, man. We gonna fan. So folks are gonna watch what they watch. Presidential election debates, none of that stuff. All that stuff aside, fans are gonna tune into the sport. Sports is like a it's our break, man. It's our escape from reality. And the reality in this sense is that the game that we used to love to escape to, it's just it just doesn't provide that much of a pleasurable escape as it did in the past. And I can't be wrong in saying so. The numbers speak for themselves. I always quote the great philosopher Jay-Z, who could be quoted as saying, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And so viewership is down 28%, as the article stated, across, ESPN, and 3% on TNT, and just the viewing in general. A lot of factors, I think, obviously, one that is not one of my top 3 reasons, but one that I'll throw in is just how it's just so difficult to find the games. I was listening to or reading another article, which this was weeks ago, so I can't remember where it was. Otherwise, I would have cited it here and showed it to you guys. But there was a sports analyst who was talking about how, with all these streaming platforms, et cetera, and, how fragmented, viewership is, or because of these rights deals, you've had, the local market, and the local broadcasts for games are being blacked out, and folks are being locked out of just being able to take in fandom in their local markets. And so with these TV rights deals, we're seeing the same teams. Like this is not hyperbole here when I say that we're seeing the same teams, like literally the same teams over and over and over again on TV. And there are 30 teams in the league, so we shouldn't see the Lakers on TV like every week. We're just seeing them constantly. You know what I mean? We're being force fed some of the teams in the major markets. And, the argument cannot be now that like, it was because they're a big draw. That's why they're on TV. Like, it's bullshit. And, this has, again, been one of those problems and issues that's been perpetuated over the years. Instead of us getting the opportunity to actually watch some of these other young up and coming teams, and some of these teams that have gotten it together, and some of these teams that are on crazy win streaks, and some of these teams that are, you know what I mean? Like just, rising. through the ranks in the league, we're forced to watch the aging dinosaurs. You know what I mean? And these old storied, franchises, which, is a detriment, like I said, obviously, to the ratings. So that's, one of the reasons that I think, that the ratings are down. It didn't enter my top three, but it's just one of, the things that I definitely wanted to bring up here. But I think that that tweet in the article that was referenced, from West C, where he said that, the product itself is the issue, and I do think that that's a real thing. You know what I mean? It's the product. The product itself needs to be fixed. The NBA has become, to George Karl's point, unwatchable, and that's from a former Hall of Fame coach. But let's get into my reasons why. Reason one, I cite poor leadership. In here we go again with this. But in the good old days, kind of a thing that I could bring up, but it's not that. It's just that David Stern, obviously had his issues and some things that he allowed and things that he had to tighten up and make adjustments on as the seasons went along. But Adam Silver has done a piss poor job with this league, I say, and I cite poor leadership because, if you run an organization or you run a company, you run a business, I run several businesses, so I get it. The blame falls squarely on my shoulders when production isn't as good, turnout's not as good. You know what I mean? The revenue, sort of takes a dip, and I haven't made the proper adjustments in, the moments are leading up to the moment, and we can't properly pivot. So, the blame trickles up. You know what I mean? Like all the credit, typically trickles, upwards to the person who's sitting at the top of the heap. And in this case, it is Adam Silver. I think that Adam Silver is most certainly a player's, kind of a commissioner, and that's not a bad thing. He's a kind of boss that, or kind of leader that, takes, into consideration a lot what, the employees want, or the, contractors, in this sense, the young entrepreneur basketball players who are helping to feed the $1 billion a year machine that is the NBA. But a lot of these things that have happened over the years have led to, this present, disinterest that is being displayed, by fans here in the league. So, or not in the league, but just in watching and viewing the league. So again, poor leadership. I think that he has allowed for, certain rule changes and things of that nature, and allowing, people give him credit for this player empowerment era. Like, he allowed the players to be empowered. Shout out to the players for getting more money because of these TV rights deals and all these things. But again, when you segregate kind of where the games are being watched, and when I was coming up, obviously we had NBC, you had, you know what I mean, like the games being played on ABC actually in the 80s, and then over to NBC. And NBC did a great job of televising the games, so that we could see them regularly. There was, obviously not a lot of money being, coming in from those in present day. Him separating from, certain local markets or major markets, the TV, that is, like NBC, etc. And then kind of going on with the ESPN thing now on the streaming, angle, which they're looking to explore and exploit more, through NBA League Pass. And, it's this whole subscription based thing that is totally about revenue over viewership. And they thought that it would lead to a boost in revenue, but when you can get the product for, or just simply by owning a television and just, already paying for some fragmented cable service of some sort to just view the games. Back in my day, it was just on regular TV. And all you had to do was pay for your electricity and the television set, and you were cool. You know what I mean? But nowadays, you just have to spend so much money to even view the games. It just takes you out of the space to be like, if I have to jump through all these hoops, you know what I mean? Then I probably just won't watch. And so I think that that's, obviously, a reason for the decline. But that again speaks to leadership and the direction that Silver has worked to try to get, or take the game into, the sport into, and the NBA as a league itself. Obviously wanted to make it a more of a global game. It was work that was started by David Stern during the 92 Olympics, especially. He had this vision to take the game more global, seeing the impact that the Dream Team had on the global market, and fully understanding it. I think once they got overseas and he got a chance to see it, he was like, wait a minute, we're missing out on a huge opportunity here. Not that there were not foreign players already in the league back then, but it was just, this eye-opening thing for him. And Silver is kind of taking the mantle of that, wanting to push, the product out there a little bit more. Maybe these streaming platforms actually help for that. So I wanted to bring that up to say, to cite that. But my reason number two for the ratings decline is the building of super teams. I think that the super team era helped to tip the competitive, scale and knock things out of balance, man. And we tune into basketball and sports in general because of the competition. We want to see people compete. And when you allow superstars to team up on other teams with other superstars, it just kind of waters down the competitive edge of the game. We're not tuning in just to watch a team get the shit beat out of them. We're tuning in because, if we want to see two good teams beat the shit out of each other, but not because they've loaded up all the best players on those two teams and then they're going head to head. In fact, we don't mind the best players, or didn't mind the best players. And when I say we didn't, we did it back in the day. Mind the best players being stacked on on two teams, just two teams, and then squaring off against each other. But we call that the All-Star game. And that was such a rare thing for us to see that we tuned in for it. You know what I mean? To see some of our dream teams, quote unquote, or dream teammate matchups actually unfold. Like, man, what would it be like if Bird played with Jordan? Like, what would it be like if Allen Iverson and Shaq got a chance to play on the same team? We get a chance to see things like that in the All-Star game. You know what I mean? Like, man, Kobe playing with LeBron would be dope, wouldn't it? And you know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing. So that was what the All-Star game was for. That was what the All-Star game was for. But when that trickles over into the main portion of the NBA, it tips the scales of competitive balance, and it just made the product unwatchable because I can remember people lamenting the fact that, when Kevin Durant, after LeBron, made the decision to go over to Miami Heat to team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and then Kevin Durant followed suit. Well, people didn't. I heard the media kind of drag on about it. Obviously, the fans were. That was the first sound of the fans being pissed. Like, yo, what the fuck is this? And not just Cleveland, Cavaliers fans, but just like the fans in general. And I heard a lot of complaining about Kevin Durant doing so. And when Kevin Durant did it, all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, man, it's not even going to be worth it. He signed a 3-year deal with them. We already know who's going to win the championship for the next 3 years. That just took all the fun out of the game. And I believe that the super teams in general took all the fun out of the game. Again, this has been now brewing for 10 plus seasons in the league, where it's now a trickle down effect. Or since we have a large sample size of years, now you see how the decline was steady. And, it's to the point now where people just don't care. That and the fact that players do not suit up. Superstar players. Some of your favorite players that you actually might want to tune in to see or to show up to a game to see. You get there, and I remember personally, I can only tell a personal story. I won't give a hypothetical here. I went to a Laker game a few seasons ago, right? It was the end of the year, and LeBron wasn't hurt. LeBron was not injured. And LeBron decided to sit out, in this game. And I was just like, bro, you're not even, and they didn't even make the playoffs that year. So yeah, get LeBron to shut it down because you know what I mean? They're 2 or 3 games under being able to make play in. It's like, no, bro, like fans paid to see you play. And I was incredibly disappointed that he didn't play. Not that I care one way or the other who won the game, but obviously I'm thinking as I'm like, yo, planning to go to this game and purchasing tickets for it. I'm like, yo, I want to get a chance to see LeBron, play against the Suns. And so anyway, that kind of thing has just been repeatedly happening over the years where short players are making more money. So they've been empowered to call their own shots, which many people are, in favor, of. But the reality is, when you really don't display a love for the game or respect for the game by suiting up for the games that you can actually play, all this load management and just sitting out for no reason, has turned fans off, man. We're like, yo, why should I continue to watch if, you guys don't care? You know what I mean? So I don't care to watch the product if you guys don't care to play it, care to compete, mano y mano, care to beat, the best team or the supposed best team, proving that you are the better team. So yeah, that's led to a decline in the ratings. I feel like reason number 2 would be the super team. my top three, number three, and my top three reasons is the relaxed rules. I don't think that anything is more of a detriment to me as a fan. All those other things are annoying, clearly, but when I have to tune into a game and I remember when the Euro step, kind of became popular in the NBA, and we started watching these folks Euro stepping all over the place, and I was like, well, that's a travel, that's a travel, that's a travel, because there's a fine line between taking an unorthodox, two steps when you off the crab dribble or the pound dribble, and it's like, we were already teetering the line between like what was travel and what wasn't travel, and it's gotten out of hand now. It's gotten completely out of hand. I mean, we're watching these players, man, literally, and you can hear them stomp, take 4 steps. You know what I mean? The supposed Euro, craziness that is just travel. It's that you're traveling. There was a reason that the NBA didn't allow it for so many years, because it's travel. It's traveling. And even if we got just beyond that, just to say, oh, you're just not a fan of the Euro because you just don't understand it. You can't do the Euro League, old man. It's like, yeah, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, travel is travel. The rules are the rules. But at the same time, there's a lot of palming. You know what I mean? That takes place in the league now as well. A lot of hesitation in these dribble moves, and all the hezzies and all that stuff is not new. No, it's not. But the league will be conscious, meaning the refs will be conscious to, key in on that. And sometimes we watch a person's hand get under the ball, and they call, a carry, and we'd be like, yo, what do you mean? You know what I mean? So there's just not a lot of tightening up on that thing. I see people all the time. It's so easy. I could cross any of you up. Right now, I'm 47 years old. If I'm allowed to get out there with the ball and do all of this, like, come on, man. You can't defend that as a defender, all this. So that's why it was taken out of the game, because it violates the fundamental rules of basketball. You know what I mean? So the relaxed rules certainly have, been a turnoff. I think also a turnoff. I love tuning into football, the NFL for many, many years, NFL, college football, like whatever. And the instant replay system, that was instituted there was cool. I don't like the challenge, rule in the NBA now, where you just want to challenge every call, slows the game down, makes it like ridiculous. You know what I mean? They're challenging stuff that doesn't even make sense. All that stuff kind of takes away from the respect of the ref, the respect of the rules, and the respect of the play of the call. Right? So if it was called one way, man, it was called one way. Now, do referees always get it right? No, they don't. But you know what I mean? For the most part, obviously, these referees, man, are paid, and they train. They also study, film, and you know what I mean, do the thing too. So they're very good at their jobs. We trust them to do their jobs, and should trust them to do their jobs. So I feel like that's another one of those kind of rules that have come in, that have kind of, put a damper on, watching the game. But more than anything, I would say the relaxed rules on how, you know what I mean, like the fundamentals being violated are just not being called. And if I wanted to see playground hoops, man, I just pull up at my local playground, pull up at, you know what I mean, LA Fitness, or you know what I mean, wherever folks are hooping, and just watch, some rugged raw sports being played. But that's not what I tune into the NBA for. So allowing this and one kind of style of play, I think has been a detriment to the league, and it's also attributed, I feel like, to this ratings decline. So that's been the basis of this particular episode. I just wanted to go in and kind of give my opinion and my take on the ratings decline. Let me know in the comments what you all are thinking. Again, if you haven't liked this video already, please like this video. Help us cruise along Algorithm Avenue and get into the presence of more people just like you. I definitely appreciate everybody who's been rocking with the channel. I've been doing this since May, man. The channel is growing steadily, and I can appreciate that. We're growing at our own pace. I don't even know what a standard, growth pace and trajectory is, but I can appreciate, the fact that I think last I looked, we're a little over 260 subs on the channel. So I'm happy that it's just more than me and my lady watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? And subscribe. So, man, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, man, for rocking with me. I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, enjoy your holiday. Blessings.